This is step 6 of the radiation shield assembly. Here we're going to be dealing with assembling the physical structure and running all the cables through. We're going to start with our top assembly here. We also have our lower assembly we just put together. In addition, we have the other open leaf that we did not use for this. And we have our end connector. And then we have our bolt, which will connect them all together. We'll start with our top assembly. We're going to go and straighten out this cable, and we're going to pass it through the open leaf assembly. Now we're going to want this to be on the opposite side from where our sensor is. So we'll pass it through there. Okay, so we have that passed through. Now we'll bring the two plates actually together, making sure that we don't crash into anything when we do. So we'll have them sit like that for a second. We are now going to go and pass both of these cables through the same slots, so like this, through the plate directly below them. Before we do that, we should pay attention to the keying of the base of each of the open leaves so that they can only fit together in one way. And so you'll also can line up the cuts that we see here and here when talking about which quadrant we're going to pass the cable through. So we line those two cuts up, and then we're going to go and pass the cable through the corresponding quadrant between the two. Okay, and now we're going to go and pass our temperature, pressure, relative humidity sensor cable through the opposite quadrant. Okay, we now have both of those passed through there. So we will place those stacked like this. And then we are finally going to pass them through this bottom plate. So again, we'll pay attention to the keying. This will be going on like this, which means we want to pass this cable through this quadrant for the hot wire anemometer, and this cable through this quadrant for the temperature, pressure, radiation shield. And now we'll go through and pass our other cable through. Okay, now that we have our cables passed through all the parts of the system, we're going to go and connect them together. So we will match up the keying of these two right here. We will rest it on the top plate, and then we will match up the keying on the bottom connector like so that everything is stacked up. Once everything is stacked up, we will take our bolt and pass it all the way through. And depending on how tight the 3D print is, you may need to screw it some of the way, but it should move relatively easily. And then again, as it passes through each section into the next one, making sure that everything is lined up. And now passing into the top section. And now here just making sure that all of the orientations that we set up previously are maintained. As you pass into the top section, it should catch on the threaded insert that we placed in there before. And we're going to then continue to tighten it down until the whole tower is snug together. And then just snug that down so we don't strip the threaded insert. And then that is our final assembled system. Our last step will be we're going to place our large nut into the bottom here. This will allow us to connect our tripod up into it. And then we will set this aside for getting connected to our logger system later.